Because I'm liking an impartial point of view, I ask AI how religion uses and manipulates people towards getting separation between each other, fulfill hatred, and even getting towards war and justified violence. So I think there are some important points that people should know and not be so gullible. And also a short reminder that all the Messiah and gurus and Buddha and Allah and whatever God you believe in, the most important teaching was love and acceptance. So beware of people who teach you otherwise, to go and hate other people, to go and demonize other people. Okay? Use your logic and see if those teachings are truly good or if it's just used as a tool for you to do certain things that are, let's say, not showing love towards other people. And remember, other people are your brothers and other people are also your race. So even from a religious point of view, other people are your brothers if you believe in any god. Even if you believe in science, other people are your brothers because we are from the same source and we share DNA and we are the same species. And the basic need for a species is to preserve itself, not destroy itself. Okay? Most of the wars that are happening are just fueled with people's beliefs and their feeling of appartenance to a group or a religious belief, So they kind of push that forward to justify that you should be hating the other guy because this is the guy that's bad, So I don't think it's the right way to live. But who am I to say anything after all, right? I just want peace and people get to get along and not have differences or separation and be empathic towards each other, not because of religion but because they are humans to each other, the law of human. Yeah, it's a lot to ask. But still, I encourage all people to also have a critique mindset towards their own beliefs. Kisses.
Religious beliefs, while often associated with compassion, peace, and moral guidance, can also be misused to create hatred, separation, and even to justify violence and war. This misuse is typically not rooted in religion itself, but in the way certain individuals, institutions, or governments interpret and manipulate religious ideas for power, control, or political gain. Here's how religious beliefs are commonly used to divide people and incite violence. Hashtag 1. Creating in-group versus out-group dynamics. Religions often define a set of beliefs, rituals, and behaviors that distinguish believers from non-believers, or this can lead to exclusion and demonization of those outside the faith. The idea that those who don't share the same religion are morally inferior, spiritually lost, or even evil. The use of dehumanizing language to justify hatred, e.g., calling others infidels, pagans, or unclean. Effect. Once a group is dehumanized, violence against them becomes easier to rationalize or even celebrate. 2. Religious absolutism and certainty. Many religions claim access to absolute truth. When interpreted rigidly, certainty of being right leads to intolerance toward other views or beliefs. Competing truth claims between religious groups can escalate into conflict when both sides see compromise as betrayal of divine will. Effect. Conflicts turn into moral or cosmic battles, where violence is justified as defending truth or God's will. 3. Interpreting sacred texts as calls to violence. Religious texts often contain passages that were written in specific historical, cultural, or political contexts, some of which involve war or violence. These passages can be taken out of context and used to justify modern violence, interpreted literally by fundamentalists, ignoring broader moral or metaphorical teachings, used to portray violence as obedience to divine command. Examples: the Christian Crusades invoked the Bible to justify holy war. Jihadist groups misuse Islamic scripture to frame terrorism as religious duty. Hindu and Buddhist extremists have used religious identity to attack minorities in India or Myanmar. Number 4. Religious nationalism. When religion is fused with national or ethnic identity, it becomes a powerful tool to exclude those of different faiths as outsiders or threats to national purity, claim land, power, or sovereignty based on religious history, portray conflicts as battles for divine or ancestral rights. Examples: Zionism versus Palestinian nationalism has religious dimensions tied to land. Hindu nationalism in India marginalizes Muslims and Christians. Buddhist nationalism in Myanmar has incited violence against Rohingya Muslims. 5. Martyrdom and holy war narratives. Some religious ideologies glorify dying or killing for the faith. Martyrs are celebrated as heroes who earn a special place in the afterlife. Violence is framed as sacrificial, purifying, or divinely rewarded. Those who die fighting for the faith are promised divine rewards, reinforcing the cycle. Effect: this creates a moral incentive for violence, especially among the vulnerable or indoctrinated. Manipulation by political and religious leaders. Leaders use religion to unify followers under a common identity or cause, justify political violence, e.g., war, oppression, terrorism, silence dissent by framing opposition as impious or ungodly. They often invoke divine approval to legitimize aggression, such as, God is on our side. This war is God's will. Our enemies are enemies of faith. Number 7. Education and indoctrination. Religious indoctrination from a young age can teach rigid, intolerant worldviews, reinforce myths and stereotypes about other religions, normalize fear and suspicion of outsiders. Effect: it becomes easier to radicalize or mobilize people toward hatred or violence later in life. In summary, religious beliefs become dangerous not inherently, but when they are weaponized, treated as tools for exclusion, control, or conquest. That's a profound and important question. People often don't use reason to see they are being manipulated, especially in the context of religion, politics, or ideology, for several key psychological, social, and emotional reasons. Chapter 1. Identity and belonging. Beliefs are part of personal and group identity. Challenging them can feel like threatening one's very sense of self or family community loyalty. People may fear being excluded or rejected if they question what their group believes. Religion, like nationalism or ideology, often offers a strong sense of purpose, belonging, and safety, which reasoning alone cannot replace. Emotional comfort over rational truth. Many beliefs, especially religious ones, offer comfort in the face of fear, death, or uncertainty. Reason can be cold or unsettling. Faith offers emotional security, even if it means ignoring contradictory evidence. People prefer comforting lies over uncomfortable truths, especially during crises. 3. Cognitive biases. Confirmation bias. People look for evidence that supports what they already believe and ignore what contradicts it. Authority bias. They trust religious or political leaders more than their own judgment. Groupthink. In tight communities, questioning accepted beliefs is discouraged, leading to conformity and self-censorship. 4. Fear and indoctrination. Many people are taught from childhood not to question, to obey, to believe, and to fear punishment, social, spiritual, or literal. Some religious or ideological systems label doubt or critical thinking as sin, rebellion, or weakness. In authoritarian systems, questioning authority can be dangerous, so people learn to silence their reason for survival. 5. Lack of education or exposure. Critical thinking and skepticism aren't always taught or encouraged, especially in communities where education is limited or tightly controlled. Without exposure to different views, people don't know what they don't know. Ignorance can feel like certainty. 6. Manipulation tactics. Manipulators use fear, guilt, repetition, and emotional appeals to override logic. They create us versus them narratives to shut down questioning. Doubters are traitors or enemies. Repeated exposure to propaganda or selective teachings makes it hard to see other perspectives. 7. Social and economic pressure. In many places, religion is tied to access to community, marriage, work, and safety. Leaving or questioning can have serious consequences. People may conform outwardly to survive or maintain relationships, even if they doubt privately. In summary, most people don't resist manipulation because they're lazy or unintelligent, but because humans are emotional, social beings, wired to seek safety, community, and meaning. Reason often comes second to survival, comfort, and belonging. Overcoming manipulation usually requires education, safety, and support, not just logic.